Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, viewers. Today, I've got a very, very special person in front of me. I actually want to thank him the second time. If you guys don't know, we're having this interview again because of Google issues yesterday. We were not able to record it because apparently Mr. Masood sent an email out. We were all underage and we've been using Google without their permission. So, thanks to Mr. Masood, who is our guardian at the moment in AIA, and he made sure that we are over 18 and we should be allowed to use this facility. So I really thank him. Also, I mean, the person that we have has got many, many hats that he wears. Sometimes really hard to differentiate that who he is. And it's probably like you can say he's a father in the school that when you're lost, you can definitely go to him. He'll show you the way and how we would call him. I mean, if I would call him a daily organizer, that would really fit him. Why? Because he's organizing every day what role he needs to do today. So he's organizing for himself. He's none other than our really well respected Mr. Zamil, the head of teaching and learning, and also the coordinator for year 11 and 12. And he's got many other roles. We've also got his photo displayed. He looks very, looks a bit surprised over there. Maybe he's might seen my face in this hat. So that's why he's a bit surprised over there. So we'll ask him about his photo. First, we'll ask him what does he do at school so we can get a clear picture. And also we'll ask him about the photo. So welcome back again. We're 18 years old and hopefully this video is released.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheikh Farhan, for such a nice welcome. Putting so much titles to me. And thank you again for the next second opportunity to speak to you and take part in this opportunity, this interview. Sorry, as I've said before, I'm actually so happy with this whole idea of you having interviews of the teachers and then posting it up online so that we can hear from the teachers who they are. We know we tend to learn a lot more about the teachers, and I think it's amazing to see that you can still socialize by not being sitting next to each other. That's like, it's still so nice to see that you brought this initiative up, and I'm so happy and so how do I put it, like so privileged to sit actually next to you in that office too. So I get to learn a lot from you and Sheikh Walid and Miss Hind, who we share the office with. Yes, so going back to my titles, I shouldn't say titles. That looks like I'm holding so many titles, but I have a few roles at the school.
I must say, sorry to cut you there. You've got the biggest signature in the school.
I have actually cut it down. Actually, I remember I was told that it's too long, and I had to shrink it. Yeah. So as you've said, I'm the head of teaching and learning for HSE, and I look after 11 and 12. And as I've said, this is the most busiest time when it comes to 11 and 12, since the year 12s are completing their trial exams and the 11s are moving up to year 12 next term. So this is the most I can say busiest time for me this year. And this year alone itself, because of the lockdown and because of the changes and because of so much of uncertainty and things like that, it has become more and more challenging. But I think we are all doing quite well. Challenges are always going to come, and how we come out of those challenges that's what makes or defines who we are actually. The other roles, sorry, I should use the right word. The other roles I have in the school is, as everyone knows, I'm the daily organizer. So when I say I'm a daily organizer, I'm actually a full daily organizer, all the way from getting calls and even doing extras and also signing the leave forms. In some schools you have a number of people involved in this role. I pretty much do all those roles in one as a daily organizer. I'm also the timetabler, as all of you guys know. I'm also the reports coordinator, and there's other roles I do. And I think those 4 roles would be good enough for this meeting at this stage.
Well, thanks for your photo. I'm thinking you've probably seen someone like me.
Again, I'm going to say this. I'm actually a very shy person. I mean, the photo is not that I've actually seen someone. It was more like I was forced to take a photo. So I was like, I had to sit next to my brothers. I've cropped my photo, so my brothers are next to me. And I have two brothers. They're both younger than me, so I'm the oldest in the family. And being the eldest in the family comes with your challenge, your challenges, you know. But yeah, I'm not a photogenic person, so I was very shy. I didn't want to even look at the camera. Like I was pretty much forced to sit there and look at the camera. But I'm not. I don't really have many photos, anyways, of my when I was young. And like I said before, that I'm not. I don't have that many photos, not because I'm a shy person, also because we don't really believe in very having photos and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, so that's who I am at this day, as you can see in the photo.
And you know what? I've known something about you that people probably don't know. You come from a quite religious family. May Allah give a big status to your father in Jannah. He was the one who was a driving force, and one of your brothers is also a sheikh.
Yes, yes, yeah. So the brother younger than me, 2 years younger than me, he's actually a sheikh there. He's quite known in Fiji actually, and my father was very known too. So yeah, they alhamdulillah, they've put a lot of effort in the dawah work, and and hopefully I can fulfill some of the things they can do or they have done, you know. But yeah, it's sometimes when I remember the things I did with my dad and places I visited with him, like it makes me emotional. But I mean, he's passed away. I think now it's been 7 years ago. He passed away. Sorry, not 7 years ago. Sorry, 3 years ago. Sorry, my mistake. It was the first year when I came to Kellyville schools.
I remember that because
Yeah.
you know you just had to pack your bags and you had to go, and we were so fortunate wherever we wanted to go in the world. Imagine if we were in this time, how would
Mm.
that be?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very fortunate actually in many ways, I can say, and I think we are all very fortunate living in Australia to start with, and I think that makes us a bit, or makes our life a bit easier than what people might be going through overseas at this stage.
Yeah, but look, as you said, you really said well over there because we've got so much to enjoy and look back upon. And people overseas, they hardly have anything, and if you take even those little they have, they've got nothing to really look back upon.
Yeah, 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 I totally agree with that actually, and like after attending the assembly today, they're like, and also knowing a little bit more about Afghanistan. I knew a bit about it anyways, but I think learning and attending today's assembly made me be more aware of what's happening around, and not just Afghanistan, as you mentioned even in your dua, and that people in Palestine, people in Syria, and the rest of the world. I mean, there's Muslims in India, and there's Muslims in I think Nepal. You know, there's a lot of people who are having a lot of issues around, and not just Muslims, but also humankind. You know, there's people where there's countries where there's no war, but people are dying of hunger, lack of food, lack of water. So I think I see myself that I'm quite privileged, and I should be very thankful to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to give for Him to give me this opportunity to live in a country like Australia. Actually,
No, you're right. We're very fortunate. I mean, I always tell my wife, you know, you're so fortunate. You've got a husband from the other side of the world. You can always come to UK. You're very fortunate. You're not like the other people. So yeah, hopefully she realizes that.
yes, yeah, brings some of the memories back while we were at office inside our office last time, and discussing about some of those issues. So yeah, it's
Look, you know, we all want to learn something. And mashallah, I must say that because I do share the office with you. I do share a lot of time. I know you're really well learned, and if people actually don't know, I heard, if I'm not wrong, you actually graduated with the science degree and also with majors. You're in physics and other things as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think I'm not the only one at school. I think there are a few other teachers who have their first degree as an engineer. So I'm actually a qualified engineer to start with, but then I went into teaching, and I've stayed there ever since. So maybe I enjoy teaching more than any other job. So I've stayed ever since.
So,
I
so
think, yeah.
Yeah, no, so on that note, like you're a qualified engineer and there's always room to learn. What's something that you always wanted to learn? Even today, you say, you know what, I've got so many degrees, but I wish I had this one as well.
Yeah, I one of the things I'm always interested to learn is obviously to learn Arabic as a language. I would like to learn Arabic as a language because I would like to understand when I read Quran. That's the basic idea behind me learning Arabic, because I do understand there is also meanings written separately, but actually when you understand Arabic and you know what you're reading, it makes much more of a difference. I can read the meanings below it, like in Urdu or in English, but understanding Arabic is slightly different from that, in my view. So that was always one of my dreams. I did even give a try. I did actually when I went to a few madrasas even, back in my younger days when I was a school student. But I think my focus was too much on the, what we say in Urdu, dunyawi talim, the worldly language, the worldly, what do you call, education, so I think I focused too much on getting degrees and stuff. But yeah, so that's one thing. The other thing I'm very interested in learning, and I always try my best to learn, is about running a business. And I've said this before, I like to learn how to run a very successful business. I'm very interested in business. It's not that I'm planning to become like Elon Musk or of any of the richest people out there. In fact, they are all IT related people, just to make it clear. But I just want to learn about different types of businesses and how things are done, because I think that's also related to my subject area. So that makes me more interested. And in fact, if you do come to my class, and if you ever get a chance to come to my class, you'll find me actually talking to the students more, very, you can say, very real life examples. I always use a lot of real life examples, things that are happening currently, and how do we focus, how do we look at those impacts on our society and things like that. That's my focus always, in the being in the classroom.
Oh, that's really good. Hopefully, I'm going to come to your classroom because, as you know, I teach year 11 now, so I do get to come to the high school classes more often, and I'll probably come to duck into your class and get some insights from your teaching as well.
You're always welcome. We have some amazing teachers, including you. I've not visited fully your classroom, but I've come across, and I've seen that, the amazing work you do with the kids. That's a testament in itself, right?
Look, yeah, you're very humble. I mean, you're the first one who's ever said I'm a good teacher. You know, they say you're a good teacher when your wife says that. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to teach my children at home, and she's telling me, you know what? I don't know how you became a teacher, but so hopefully my wife wants she she listens to this interview and she says the same thing.
you know
Look,
yeah.
yeah, go for it.
Oh no, that's the story of pretty much every family. Like, I've got a family where I live in, where sometimes they question my, my ethics, my work, and they get surprised of how I'm holding these many positions. They think that I might not be fit for it, but that's fine. You always, they always, yeah.
You know, we can definitely get you and your wife and people, if they don't know, Miss Janet Shebnam is actually Mr. Zamil's wife. So we can definitely measure the teaching there. And I know you're humble, so you're going to say, you know what, she's better teacher than you. So we'll give it to her, inshallah. And you also want to go to sleep tonight. So we'll make it easy for you. So she is the better teacher, yeah?
Yeah, she's definitely a better teacher.
No, I'm only kidding there. So we there's so many things that you do, and in the school as well. There's always something that people say. You know what? I need to go to Mr. Zamil because he knows that. Okay, boo. I need to go to Mr. Muhammad because he knows that well. What's something that you would say that you know well?
um I like. I think I'm gonna start by saying, there's still a lot of room for improvement. I would say I still want to improve myself. I still want to become better at whatever I'm doing at school and also at home or in my life generally. I think there is still like a lot of, like I said, a lot of room for improvement. There are a few things I feel, and some, I don't know, that's personally I feel that I might be good at. One of the things that I'm actually, or I can be good at, is organizing. I'm a very organized person, both at school and outside school, and also in my private life. I'm actually very, very. I always try to be very organized and very calculated in whatever I do. So what I mean by that, it's like I've got a plan. Like if you look at my calendar, the Google Calendar we all have, you'll find it's full of in like because I get info, I get. Uh, Alarms going on telling me, oh, I need to do this, I need to. So I think organization has been always one of the things that I was good at, or I might have been good at. But I think it also can be sometimes difficult for people to see that, or maybe to be able or for me even to sometimes relate it to other people, because I think being super organized can be also a negative in a in a small way,
Well,
you know.
I know who you're attacking at the moment because you're looking at my table from there. I can tell everyone who's listening later on. I mean, Mr. Zamil's very organized with the amount of forms that he gets on his table. If I was that person getting those forms, you guys will not be going on excursions. You guys will not be going on PDs, and you, you guys will not be going anywhere because I am far away from organization. You know, there are a few people I've seen who are really organized in the school, and I could definitely say, hand on my heart, you're one of them. Like when I see your table, it's so organized. And also, if you go to Mr. Apostolu's room, like,
I was about to take his name actually.
well, seriously, I mean, you guys are like, I don't know if we were allowed to use this word, partner in crime, because you do work so closely in leadership. And you guys both have very similar when it comes to organization. When you go to his tables as well, the amount of forms he gets, I mean, it's a really clean table, apart from his black, really dark black coffee that he has on his table all the time.
Yeah, through this medium, I would say I'm actually very privileged working with him. I've learned a lot from him. We have been sharing a lot of information. I mean, the last few days, you wouldn't believe we have most probably called each other more than 10 times a day, or even more than that. Like it's something that I cherish, and I think I'm organized, but I think he's more organized than me. So, so I would say, yeah, I would say that if I were to compare my quality with him, I think he's better than me when it comes to that. But I think I mean, I do have a few other qualities that I think I can say that there could be some of my good qualities. One of the other things that I always get interested in is that I like to learn. Like, you know what I mean? I always like to take a challenge, regardless of what it is. I always want to give my best shot. I'm a firm believer in my. That's again personal. That I always think that my first shot is always the best shot. So even when I'm having this interview, I'm just making a point here. Um, but I always thought, like, I always like to give a shot to anything that comes across me. I mean, whether I fail or pass, that's not really important for me. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're not gonna pass. I mean, I'm not gonna pass everything. So there are things I might not do very well, but I still want to give a shot.
I mean, that's the attitude. Everyone should be like that because no matter what, we're going to give it a go. And, there's so many things that we do and we forget. I remember you telling me yesterday, and something that people don't know that you know really well, you're a farmer.
Yes, yeah. Actually, I enjoy farming. I enjoy a couple of things outside school, which can be sometimes people might be surprised by, but or maybe they might be thinking that yes, I can see Zamil doing that. One of the things is like I love farming, and when I say I love farming, I go into depth about farming. So I was a poultry farmer back in Fiji as a student. So I was in a high school, and I had poultry farm. I didn't have that much chicken, but I had around 200 plus chicken at one given time, chickens and roosters. And I remember my mom used to tell me, when any relative comes home, or can you slaughter one, and I would get angry about that, because I even had them not just for selling and making money out of it, but it was also it was like for me a relaxation time. When I would come back after school, I would at least spend an hour with them. So I would sit on the grass, and you know how chickens also eat grass. So they would actually come and they will roam around me, and they were so fond of me. And so that was the big thing. I mean, that I was involved in. But farming in general, I love farming. I love gardening. And I would go, like, when I say I would go to another extent, is that if I have to buy something, I'll go ahead and buy it. For example, I've got two chickens at home currently. So I as a And I'll tell you the reason behind. When I say I bought them as a pet, there was another reason which I'm going to share. So I remember, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember when the lockdown started last year, when COVID-19 came. So I was watching this TV show where this lady comes and says that everyone should start to become self-sufficient. So so as somebody who likes to become self-sufficient, I actually went ahead and I did farming, gardening. I bought chickens because I thought I'll get eggs and I don't have to rely on going to shops buying eggs and things like that. And I spent close to I think, if I remember, I think it was $1,500 just to set up the whole chicken thing, chicken coop and everything. My family got crazy with me, like they thought that I was something was wrong with me. But I spent, like, I had 3 chicken coops. So there's one outside in the lawn area, and there is one in my pergola. So if it rains very heavily or something, like, I can bring them to pergola, and there's another one I can put them in and I can carry them with me while I'm going somewhere. So so you know what, I actually went to that level.
So you've got the contingency plan as well. If something
Yeah.
happens, you're going to take them with you.
So yeah, so I think I'm like, when I say I give a shot or give a go to something, I like to give a full go to it, regardless of how what's gonna be the outcome. But yeah, farming and gardening has been one of my biggest. I mean, one of my qualities I have had. I have done irrigation systems around my house. I've done other stuff which sometimes people might think that he's either gone crazy or something, but that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that takes me to my next question. What do people usually get surprised? I know that farming part's very surprising, but there's other facts about you that people don't know, and then when they hear that about you, they really get surprised.
I think I think one of the things that people do get surprised is, sometimes they get surprised is that there's 2 things. One is, I like to watch TV, and there are 2 things I would like to watch on TV. One is reality TV, and I'm a big fan of one of these shows that some of the listeners would know. I've even spoken to them about it. This is known as Maths. So I was a big fan of it. I don't believe in the show, by the way. I just watch it because of drama. And then other reality shows like MasterChef and other things. And I'm also a big fan of politics. So I like to, like, I would say one of my favorite shows is the news. And when I say I'm watching news, I don't watch news on Channel 9 or Channel 10. I watch news on ABC 24 news channel. So that's all I watch. If so, some days, like, actually, even during school days, like, sometimes I would go to bed and I'll wake up suddenly. I'll come back and I'll have the news on, and I'll just watch drum. The something like that. I'll just watch what, and then I have a lot of comments to make too. I hope no one can I hope no one sits next to me when I'm watching news, because I make some sometimes very good comments and sometimes can be very nasty comments. But I make those comments because I don't know. I love those 2 things. I think people might be surprised by that. That these are. I'm also very interested in I don't know. I don't know if that could be a surprise thing for the teachers, but I'm actually very interested in building. I love to learn about building industry. I love to I've got quite a number of families in the building industry, so maybe that's one of the reasons. But I've also myself done technical drawing and stuff like that, so I've always been very interested. I want to say something at this stage. When I say building, I actually, back in Fiji, when I bought the chickens, the first chicken coop, which was quite a big coop, actually could accommodate around 200 chickens in it, I built it myself. And that's when I would be in year 8, I think. So, and another thing I would say is, people might say, okay, I've just went to the hardware shop, got stuff and bought it. That's not how we build stuff back in Fiji. What happens is,
You don't have any Bunnings over there.
yeah, so we don't have Bunnings. Not only we don't have Bunnings, we don't even have money to buy go to Bunnings to buy. So what I did actually, I went around the village and I asked people if they were chucking anything. So I collected those old used corrugated iron and things like that. Like um, corrugated iron post, timber post and stuff. And I actually brought them and to my house, and then I started building it. So I built using the what we can call a recycled chicken coop. So yeah, so this is what I mean. I remember my mom came out one day and she said, "What are you doing?" Because I climbed on top of it and I was nailing the final, piece, and she was saying, "What are you doing? You're gonna fall. You're gonna break this." And I said, "No, no, you try it. You climb on it and you can try how strong this is." So, so it was, yeah. So it was those days when and also being the eldest, my younger brothers would follow me. So what that means is I always had to show them a way, so I felt like it was my responsibility that I need to show them a way of doing something, you know what I mean, like. So yeah, so that's where my some of my qualities are, I would say.
And also in the back of your house, you've done that extension. I've heard you've actually done quite significant of those work yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, when we extended the house at the back, we like to share the responsibility responsibility with the contractor. So there's jobs that the contractor does, and there is jobs that I do, which which I feel the contractor has not done good enough. Like I can do things like tile laying. People might be surprised by that, but I can do tile laying. I can do a lot of, like, all the way from painting to tile laying, even concreting if I get the right equipment and stuff. I was telling somebody one day that I pretty much have collected everything for building industry except for maybe concrete mixer and a few other little tools here and there. So so this is the extent I went to.
Well, if people don't know, when I was going to Perisher, and I spoke to Mrs. Zamil about the chains on my car tire, and he said, "Don't worry, I've got those chains." So, if you're looking for any hardware equipment, so the surprising fact is you probably will find it in his garage. Like, it will probably be there in your shed.
Yeah, it will be somewhere. Yes, exactly. I mean, the idea is this: either you buy it or you hire it or you build it, or either you buy it or you hire it, right? So for me, I go for buying over hiring. So I just go buy. You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you, Miss Jeanette's not very happy when she's going, because the amount of equipment that you've had for yourself is actually taking her space as well.
Oh yeah, that's only in the garage. The rest of the place is not my equipment.
Oh, look, well, for me, the most surprising fact was when you said reality TV. Really, I would have never imagined person like you watching reality TV.
Yeah, some people might say when I'm watching TV, I might be really sitting there and watching TV. I am actually having that as a sideline entertainment. So I might be still doing something while I can hear somebody's talking there, and I can, and then
Multitasking.
multitasking. Yes.
Well, on that note, multitasking, I know that you know a lot of languages, so you're multilingual as well. So you speak, people don't know, he speaks the dialect of Pakistan, India, and also, which is of a slightly different in Fiji, he speaks that as well in the Fiji version. And then he's got the Fiji language as well up his sleeve. So yeah, there's quite a lot of languages over there. I can hardly speak the dialect of India or Fiji, but I know it's a very similar way of talking in Urdu. Yeah, tell us about that. How do you
Yes.
switch between these languages? And also, I've heard you know how to read and write Urdu. That really surprised me.
Yeah, so as a student back in Fiji, I actually had to learn Urdu in primary. So I learned Urdu to read, write, and understand. So the thing is that in Fiji we actually call the Hindi we speak in Fiji, we call it Fijian Hindi or broken Hindi, because there's a story behind it, by the way, and it's a very funny story. If someone knows about indentured labor system and things like that, so Fiji was colonized by the British, whereby they brought actually Indian laborers from India, and most of these laborers came from the Uttar Pradesh state. So
That's where, by the way, that's where Miss Sayed's from, UP.
Yes. So I even actually my great grandparents came from India. So what happened is when they came to Fiji, they said there were people at that time, they were speaking very fluent Urdu and also Hindi, and they were mixed so much in the boat. They came out and they started speaking broken Hindi, or what we call the Fiji Hindi. So that was the story actually in Fiji. They would say, or they mixed in the boat was swinging and they were mixing, and then they started speaking. So yeah, so we have a different dialect, but the good thing is because Fiji Hindi is such a it has so many words that not even relates to anything. Like for example, there are things that I would normally say, and a Pakistani or Urdu speaking person might get offended by it. So so
What's that word? I would like to listen to that one.
yeah. So for example, when we say something is very good, we will say bahut julum.
Oh,
Now bahut zulum is like you know what zulum means, right?
yeah,
We will
that's
say
right. It's Arabic as well. Zulm. It's a darkness.
yeah, and for yeah, and for us, it's like it's beautiful, it's nice. That's what you remember. So, I mean, I remember the first time when I said this in front of a Urdu speaking person, he got offended actually. He thought that I'm actually saying that you are being zulum on me, right? You are being. So I said no, that's not what I meant. Yeah. So with Urdu, I learned Urdu at school, and because there's also Hindi there, so I'm able to, I don't know, I'm able to switch very quickly. My father and my dad was actually a Hindi speaking person, so he learned how to read write Hindi very fluently. In fact, my dad and his brother, his elder brother, who lives in Sydney here. My dad's elder brother actually used to run a radio station in Sydney in
Oh,
Hindi. Yes, he's retired now. And he's a bit sickly now, but he used to run a Hindi station in Sydney. So he was very very fluent in Hindi. Like I'm not just talking about spoken Hindi, but written Hindi, and yeah. So he was so good at it. He would understand it, and I've seen his writing. He would write like sometimes he would write letters which are like 6 pages, 7 page letters. Go in the olden days when there was no emails and so he would write like 6 7 pages of Hindi letters. My grandfather was very good at reading and writing Hindi. So my father and I think that's how I got influence in knowing Hindi. But then on the other side, I've learned Urdu at school, and I've learned Urdu quite well because we actually had to do exams in Urdu. So I had to learn. I mean, I'm not as good as you. I mean, I remember when I read the when how when the school was taken over or the school changed its name. I remember you did some translation for the letters that were sent to the parents. When I was reading that letter, I thought to myself, this is translated by someone who knows Urdu very very well. And when I came to know it was you, like I was amazed by that. It's an amazing art actually, because I feel like Urdu is a very sweet language.
did you know that?
And
I'll tell you one thing. I actually did not learn Urdu in the school. It's because my dad's actually from Delhi,
yeah,
and he's very, very big on Urdu language. And because of his love towards the language, I was the only one out of the brothers who said, "You know what, Dad, I'm going to do that for you, inshallah." So that's how I
mashallah,
learned
yes,
it. No,
yeah,
but
yeah, no,
having said that, what you just said, what really amazes me about Hindi, and if you can read Hindi, and people who don't know about Hindi, Hindi is a very difficult language to read. It's like Sanskrit, and the way you write it, it's an art in itself. It's more like those syllables that you use for Asian
mm.
languages. It's a very different way. So tell us about the language. People who don't know how Hindi is, they might be thinking it's
So
just a very easy language to write.
I'm not actually very good at writing it. I would say that because I'm more a good speaker. I would say I can speak very well, but not to the Sanskrit level because Sanskrit is obviously more difficult one. But the thing what I would say is that yeah, it's written very very differently. I was for the first time when I saw the line on top. You write the characters and then you put this big line and there's something that goes on top. And I think I remember the first time when I saw it. Actually, the interestingly, the hadiths would be translated in Hindi. So they would actually, my parents would actually read those hadiths. You know what I mean? There was it translated in Hindi. But in terms of writing, I'm not really really good in writing when it comes to Hindi. But when it comes to Urdu, yes, I might be good to some level. But yes, I think over time living in Australia and not practicing and things like that, maybe I've lost some of those skills. But I've noticed when I've come back to Kellyville School and after sitting with you in the office, I think I'm now brushing up on my Urdu a bit.
I'll tell you one thing for all the viewers, people that don't know, Indus Valley, where India, Pakistan, and also
Hmm.
parts of Afghanistan is, that when Mrs. Zamil was talking about the Hindi language, I mean, this was something which is really old. And the scholars that came from that region are really well known scholars. One of the scholars that comes to mind is Shah Waliullah Dehlevi, one of the biggest scholars that people know, and also known as Mujaddid, like someone who
Hmm.
revives the religion. And so, those people were fluent in Hindi, and they were fluent in Sanskrit, they were fluent in Urdu, Farsi, Arabic. And for that region, yes, a lot of work had to be translated in the local language. So they were the ones who were pioneers, and they knew how to manipulate the language. So this is so interesting. I mean, we're
Mm.
going on another realm, but you really gave us such a great talk there. Look, we're in difficult times, all of us. And as a Muslim, we don't like to say that word, but we're humans. Our brains work very differently. So,
Mm.
being a part of the leadership team, all the leaders have given us some advice. So we're always looking at the leaders for advice. And give us some advice. I mean, we would like to know, what would you like to tell us?
Okay. First of all, I would say, compared to you, I'm not that good at giving advice. I know you give great advice, and I always listen to that on weekly basis on Fridays. The recordings you send us, they're amazing recordings. I mean, last week I was talking to my wife, the recording you sent, and it's amazing to hear those kind of advices and reminders. My advice would be, and this is again in line with most of the advices been given out, will be that we all need to hang in there. We all need to hang in there, because the good times are coming, inshallah. We always need to, this is a challenge. For me, I would see that this is a challenge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is a test from him, to see how we can come out of this still with iman, still with faith in him, because that's very, very important. I feel like sometimes with challenges, people start forgetting why this is happening. So I always see that as a challenge, and I would like to take an opportunity to come out of the other end also safe. And I would like, if my advice would be that everyone should see themselves, inshallah, being successful when the lockdowns are over. The other thing I would say is that I would say that we, and I said this yesterday, that we are a team, and we all have each other's back. So we should not feel that I'm by myself. There's no one to help me. No, everyone's here to help you. So all you have to say is just say what you need. Like, I'll give you an example, and I think this is an example. Why I'm using this as an example is so that people realize that you can. Like, for example, last week, this week, the year 12s are doing the online trial examination, right? Everyone knows that. Now, last week on Thursday, I realized that the amount of things I need to do with what's happening, I need some support from both Paul and Lubna in terms of checking the exam. All I had to do is send them an email, right? And they came on board and they supported me. So the idea is that if you feel that it's getting a bit too much, you just need to seek help. You need to seek the support. And there's some great people. I shouldn't say some great people. All the teachers are great. So they're very good teachers around, and they will be helping you in every way possible, if they can provide you with that support. And don't think, oh, this is the end of the world and I'm not going to be able to survive. Inshallah, we will all come out. Like I said before, we will all come out safe to the other end, inshallah.
Well, thank you so much for such a great advice. On that note, I am seeking help on behalf of every staff member. The report is coming, so please, we've got our hands up and help us. I'm only kidding there. Thank you so much. It was an honor to speak to you, but it's not the end yet.
Oh, okay.
The fun part. It's where I sit back and enjoy, and the others really have to dig deep. So now your time is really dig deep.
Can we repeat the same question from yesterday?
I wish I could repeat the same quiz, but I've got another one. It's a technical one. I know you like the technical stuff. So there we go. I'm actually going to put the volume up. I'll get you to listen to it. And the floor's all yours. And I'll just mute myself so there's no echo.
Yeah. Make sure it's easy. Otherwise, the extras
3. The coins mystery. You have 2 buckets of fresh tap water. The temperature of the water inside the first bucket is 25 degrees Celsius, while the water inside the second bucket is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You drop a coin into each bucket. The height is the same, the speed of the coins is the same, and they hit the water at the same time. But can you predict which coin will touch the bottom first? 10 seconds to solve this puzzle.
I fill the first bucket because 25 degrees Celsius is more hot then hotter than 25 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't
Ah,
know. Sorry.
all right, let's look at your answer. I mean, let's see. Well, that was supposed to be a trick question. Let's see if you're right, because it's a technical. Because if you guys don't know, Mr. Zamil's second name, AKA, is technical. So
Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. That could be the answer, or the other answer will be they will both touch the bottom the same because it has the same amount of water. It doesn't really matter how hot or cold it is.
all right, let's see let's go with your first answer. Let's see if that's the right one.
The coin in the first bucket will fall to the bottom of the bucket first. At 25 degrees Celsius, water is liquid, while at 25 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns into ice.
I gave a opposite answer actually. So the first part was correct. The 25 degrees is more hotter than the 25 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's right. So your first answer was correct. I think with my words only got you more confused, but we'll take your answer as right. So the leaders who are listening, Mrs. Zamil actually got the quiz right. So, so we'll give it to him. Look, it was an honor to speak to you.
Sorry,
And
Sheikh,
now,
half mark, not full mark, half mark.
half mark to you. It's an honor to listen to you, and I look forward to sharing the office again. At the moment, we don't work on the same day, but it's always an honor to speak to you. And I wish you all the best in your day, especially in your busy time. And I know you're very busy till they sit down the first exam till November. So you're doing a lot of planning. And my du'as are with you. And best of luck, inshallah.
Thank you, Sheikh, for the opportunity. I really appreciate your time in trying to in interviewing me, and I hope I haven't offended anyone during my interview. Thank you so much, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. This is my new trivia question. Miss Sayyid's going to be my judge in the background. Shah Rukh Khan or Amir Khan or Salman Khan? You only have to choose one. If you don't know who they are, Mr. Zamil and Miss Sayyid, they're a big fan of Bollywood. Myself, I'm not, but I know these guys. So yeah, Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, or Salman Khan. Miss Sayyid will be judging you on the question, which is your answer. So you should be very careful.
So I have an answer straight away. Actually, my favorite is Amir Khan, Mr. Perfectionist. I feel like he gives dimension to cinema. I would say that he actually brings a new dimension to every movie he does. Shah Rukh Khan's the same all the time. I mean, he's a very good actor. Don't get me wrong. He's an amazing actor, but his movies are pretty much the same. Like there's the same story, the same. Even though he's the world's second richest actor now, as we all might know, he's worth what $800 million or something. But at the same time, I feel like his acting is the same. Salman Khan, in my view, is a good human being, but not really an actor. I hope Ms. Naimullah is not going to listen to this because I know she's a big fan of Salman Khan. So, in my view, the actor out of all the three and somebody who really brings a new dimension every time or takes a challenge is Amir Khan. So that's why I go for Amir Khan.
All right.